Research Centre, and I'm the PI for the Flexible Services for the Support of Research project, or FleSSR, as is much more easily called. We're actually a fairly sizable consortium of ourselves in Oxford, University of Reading IT Services, EduServe, and Rutherford Appleton Laboratory at STFC with the UK National Grid Service. But then from the commercial side, Eucalyptus, Canonical, the providers of Ubuntu and Ubuntu Enterprise Cloud, and a company called E over I, which is a spin-out from the Belfast eScience Centre, and whose previous experience actually includes something I'm sure you're all aware of, is BBC iPlayer, which is currently all runs on the cloud actually at the moment in terms of its encoding and everything else. So the main aims of the project are threefold. The first one actually is to build a public-private hybrid cloud system between two private clouds, one in Oxford and one in Reading, and a public cloud infrastructure at EduServe. The main aim for this is because an increasingly large amount of research information, particularly in target areas like bioinformatics, medical sciences, high-tech engineering, have extremely high constraints around privacy of the information. So having EduServe, who's a trusted provider within the sector, involved, and of course being UK-based, is much more useful. Key parts of this is to integrate a uniform management layer, which the user community sees as the front-end gateway, in front of the various Eucalyptus cloud instances that we've got installed in the system, but then also to extend the UK NGS's accounting management system so that all of the utilisation of these public-private cloud systems is actually accounted for, both in terms of computational resource, storage resource, and in the longer-term network utilisation as well. So the three things actually that Amazon talk about when they want to charge you vast amounts of money. From the point of view of open standards, one of the key things as well is going to be an implementation of the Open Grid Forum's OCCI, Open Cloud Computing Interface specification, by either Eucalyptus or Canonical, depending on which of the commercial cloud solutions that we actually use. Now, the main reason for doing this, of course, is not just because we want to build and install a cloud. That's that's not really that interesting. What we actually have is two pilot use cases. The first one of these is a multi-platform software development system. A key thing here with large-scale research projects as they're coming along, particularly the European Union S3 projects, which are multi-site, multi-nation, and in some cases, things like ITER, the Square Kilometre Array, these are international efforts, so you can't try and impose that all of your user community are going to use, I don't know, shall we say Red Hat 5, just to pick on the particle physicists. So what you've got to do is any of your software that's being developed actually has to run. So, and this is user applications, not just services that might be used at the back end, but things that people will actually be running on their desktop to analyse data from these large-scale experiments. They have to be developed and supported across up to, at the moment in terms of Square Kilometre Array, 10 to 15 different operating systems with, as you can imagine, different versions of libraries and everything else. So it's a geometrically scaling problem if you're not very careful. And so cloud fits in really well here. The first part of this, of course, is how the researchers actually develop their code, and from that point of view we supply them with a development instance within the private cloud, close to them, networked close to them, so that they can actually develop the code in the first place. And then for connection into the public cloud, we have a build manager where they can specify where all the code gets uploaded from and all of the different implementations of operating systems, libraries, etc. that they want to build against, with testing frameworks that the experiments have already set up, etc. The second pilot is an on-demand research data service. How many of the researchers within the universities have said, right, well, I need about, say, 500 to maybe a terabyte of storage, but I only need it for 6 months because I'm a very short service, short project. Oh, I know, well, I'll just buy one of those disks from PC World and just attach it to my machine, and then a year later they can't find it, it's broken, and everything else has gone very wrong. So what we've decided to do here is actually use essentially the copy of the Amazon block storage service, so the large-scale attachable storage within Amazon, which is called Walrus within Eucalyptus, and then a set of virtual machines that replicate various different interfaces that a research community might like to use: WebDAV, simple HTTP, secure shell copy, all of these different data access methods, and then a virtual storage volume that's attached onto the end. This has policies about, first of all, who can access it, who you're sharing this with, how long you want it, but also, because we're a hybrid system, in the longer term, could this data be actually migrated out onto the public cloud, onto the larger cloud service that's being provided by EduServe, but still accessible from the user community point of view in exactly the same way, with the same type of virtual instance running the data interface as on the local services. From the point of view, that's a project that our project is going to run until the end of April. It's a fairly, it's an ambitious project. We're building on top of the cloud work that's already being done within the UK NGS, and we've already been approached by a significant number of other people that want to do different pilots building on top of the similar infrastructure. It should be pointed out all of the documentation and everything for building the private clouds will be available really quite soon. So if people want to connect in, then they're more than welcome to. We've already been approached by Manchester and a couple of other places. Thank you.
Thank you.